Okay, folks, all you variables out there. I wanted to do as quick a video as I can here to do a follow-up on this interesting exposure of the moon, and then also another follow-up on the video footage from the other night when I broadcast part of an episode of Art Bell from the Roof Cam. I just put you know, put my blink phone, my camera phone up by the recording of that we were listening to and press the talk button and it broadcasts Art Bell's voice out. But something else is kind of interesting in this capture in the video because right at about the 2 minute mark, right in here, Captain Zippy right there comes through. And that's the one, in case you missed it in some previous videos that I had done, I had dubbed this little spotlight Captain Zippy because it's appeared in several of my other videos. And I want to show that. But I also want to share a couple of other channels, and one of them is related to the sudden weather change topic that we were listening to on that particular Art Bell archived episode. And I thought that was kind of curious, talking about the sudden weather change topic. And now there's a channel here from Michigan called Skywise Observations, and I believe his name is Morgan. And he was showing some interesting captures of the weather there back in Michigan lately, showing the blizzard and the trees and all that. But then he also showed that the meltdown. So, and it seemed like it was pretty rapid. It wasn't all of a sudden like day after tomorrow type of stuff, but it was rapid enough that it was noticeable that, people are noticing those kind of things. And I think that's kind of curious as well. And I'll put a link in the description for Skywise Observations for this channel. But the other day, YouTube had put in the recommended videos list the movie Real Genius. And there's a scene in that movie where these so called geniuses, one in particular that looks to be of, I would say, Japanese descent, and I do believe the character is supposed to be a Japanese genius kid, right? He develops this ice, and they line the hallway of their dormitory with ice, and they're skating around on slippers and stuff like that, and the sleds. And he makes a couple of really interesting comments about the ice that he created, about it being unstable type of stuff. And then all of a sudden it turns to gas. So I thought that was kind of interesting because I had searched YouTube movies before trying to find Real Genius, and it was always for buy or for rent. And then all of a sudden now it's popping up in my recommended list for free with ads, of course. But yeah, so I wanted to point that out. The sudden weather change was kind of curious. And that particular topic that I had broadcast, that segment was talking about sudden weather change and I'm saying something about, well, here it is. But I do find it curious that Mr. Zippy came through. And there were a few other things that were kind of zipping through that I'm going to look at a little bit closer with that actual video because I have that here. But then I also want to show as well some additional information about this moon, this weird moon exposure. And I have that video here that I want to show. So, along with that, I want to share another channel called Sharn1982. And they posted up some interesting captures of the moon with these lights kind of scattered around it. So I find that really curious because, I'll share a link in the description for those two channels. And I just find that really curious about the moon being captured like that over there. And then our security cam here up on the roof. Okay, I wasn't up there manning this thing. It just automatically does these little time lapse captures here. And I have that here. And it does these automatically. It'll set up these clips. It'll start at a certain time and then it'll do like a couple second clip and then present the whole video from a certain time to a certain time. And that was the moon coming through there. Let me back that up. Let me go like a frame by frame, slow it down just a little bit here. Yeah, like right there, it looks like the moon is kind of like dropping down into the clouds, like plunging down into the clouds. And then it's off. Okay, so this is one of the videos there of the moon traveling. This was on the first. You can see it kind of looks like it drops down into the clouds right there. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting capture there too. And then it just kind of flies off there, and then the sun rises in the east. And this one is from the second, and this would have been beginning um, about 4:30 in the afternoon or so, and extending overnight, and then back into the sunrise the following day. And you can see right there in that frame, this is off to the north right here. So as the sun was going down, moving around from this direction, coming across, it was to going on a site off in that direction, but you can see as the sun rises, and you can't really see the moon, but it's there. That's the light from the moon right there, but it was just so dense and cloudy that you really didn't see the actual ball of, the shape of the moon. You can kind of see the light traveling through the sky there though. And then you see the sky light up to the north as the sun comes back around from the east, right there. And that was on the second. And then this is the one from the third, um, that shows the really interesting exposure. Um, it's just really weird. It's distorted. That's one of them right there. And I find that curious. If you look at the way these lines are spread out like that, it's almost like it kind of lines up with that image posted by Sharn1982 that shows those lights scattered out around the moon. And then in this frame, this is kind of interesting because I it wasn't raining, and like there was no pane of glass or anything in between the camera and the sky when this occurred. And it just looks to me like the moon was blasting off with some serious energy of some kind. Something was coming off of that light in a really intense way. And I've seen that a couple of different times. I find that curious too because you can see it almost looks like a square there. And I need to pull out some of these frames here real quick. Let me see. I'm going to pull out this one and this one. And I'll adjust the color and look at it a little bit closer because I've seen that type of distortion before on from a couple of different occasions. And this right here, where you see this kind of distortion around the lights here at ground level over here, I've seen that before too. And that was during like what appeared to be some kind of a ball of energy that was coming into the valley and getting absorbed. And I have that video here. This is from August 11th of 2018. I don't know. Let me see. Let me go this way. Yeah. And this is that like line of energy that was coming in from the south, and this would be looking up towards basic high school. These lights here is from the grandstand. So this would be coming from the extreme south. This line of energy was coming in and it was interacting with the light that was being scattered around here. And you can see this right here is a light, a street light, a street lamp, but it was being affected in a really weird way during this solar storm that was occurring. And when this line of energy gets closer and closer and closer, it kind of draws up the energy from that area there and then pushes it right back down in. So it's almost like something came into the valley and we absorbed it. And it was having this profound effect and this lighting effect on these light sources that were scattered around here. So I think that's curious because to me, that's kind of what that distortion, kind of looks like here. And um, it just it's just weird because I normally won't see it if I'm trying to capture something through a pane of glass. I would see that type of distortion right there, you know, if there was rain or water or moisture on the glass. But you can see whatever is going on is affecting, this whole part of the valley over here to more to the north and interacting with the energy coming off of these light sources and stuff too as that was passing over. It's just a really odd exposure, and I find that curious how this is kind of looks kind of scattered like that. And I'll look at the frames a little bit closer too. And then I'm gonna go back here for a second. This was the one from the fourth. This was the one where Captain Zippy appears. And there's a bunch of stuff. I mean, if you look at it frame by frame, it's kind of interesting to see some of the what, appear to be insects or dust particles kind of zipping through that are it's kind of curious. But the part that I'm, focusing on in this video in particular is right around the 2 minute mark. And that's a plane coming in. It just kind of disappears down in that dense cloud structure that's hanging over the strip. And right there, right in the middle of the frame, is Captain Zippy once again, right there. And as I back this up, I can kind of trace it back to where it almost looks like it's distorting the clouds back in this area here as it zips through. But bring it frame by frame. And I'm going to pull a couple of frames out. Yeah, there is where the headlamp or whatever it is appears. And it's moving very, very fast. This video is real time, but I'm kind of just playing with the speed myself. So I'm going to back it up to where right before it appears right there. And now this is regular speed. It's very, very fast, extremely fast. Right there. There we go. Yeah. So now I'll back it up again. Yeah, I call it Captain Zippy. But there's a couple of other spots where it kind of looks like there, are more of them kind of zipping through the sky here. I've seen those little spotlights quite a bit. But, there's, as always, there's insects and there's dust particles that are blowing around as well that you can, kind of see that come up from ground level right below the roof lines here. There was something that appeared. Oh, that was it. That was the other one, too. There was something 105-ish as well that comes out from the southern direction. Let me pause it really quick. Let me get up there. And again, some of these I believe are dust particles and insects, but there are some of these lights that are zipping around that you can clearly see they are zipping in through the cloud structure. And insects and dust particles don't necessarily do that unless you're talking about hybrid insects and smart dust, which are actually things. There's a real at any rate, there's a couple of dots that come shooting out right here, and then they shoot up to about this part, and then there's another light that appears down in here through this part. And it's right about the 105 mark in the capture. Right there. It does like a zip up, like a triangle shape. It zips up and then it zips back down. And I'll back it up here frame by frame. There's where you can kind of see it lighten up there. Right there is where it first appears. Here's the frame before. And then it appears right there. And I'll pull this frame out. Hopefully it'll pull out the right frames. And then it appears to distort the cloud structure up through here as it zips upward. And then it appears right here. So let's see. Oh, my screen is blinking again. I think the Mac is getting ready to die out. It goes to a black screen sometimes and I have to shut it down and hope for the best. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that comes zipping through that, would appear to be, you know, dust particles and insects. But that particular part there at about the 2 minute part mark, I've seen that characteristic too many times with some of the lights that zip around here. It's Captain Zippy, and it's fast. Whatever it is, it's very fast. It came through right there. Let me back it up right there. And that to me looks like the same characteristics as this little character that came zipping through when I dubbed it Captain Zippy. And this is I'll put a link in the description for this video too. But this is the grandstand for basic high school up there. And in this video that I was showing, you can see where there's like a little laser light target thing that appears right down here below it. And you can see where it comes zipping through the very top in the capture, and then it drops down that light that puts that grandstand light out. And in this video here, I do go frame by frame and I show that as well, much like I did um, in this one here, where I'm showing you frame by frame as this is moving through. And whatever it is, it's very, very fast. Captain Zippy is very, very fast, and there are a whole bunch of Captain Zippies that zip around this valley here, folks. So, yeah, anyway, I wanted to show that. Now, I did pull out those frames. Let me close that out. Let me see. Probably should close this CME clip out too. And again, I'll put a link in the description to show this again because it was pretty interesting. I don't know if you caught that right through there. There's like sweeping beams off in the background, like Star Wars style during this whole solar storm that was occurring when this happened. But you can see the distortion on the light right there because there's energy flowing. There's the spotlight right there. Zippity doo. Right there. It just sweeps across the sky like War of the Worlds in the background there. So anyway, back to the point. Okay, so I have those here. These are the frames that I have pulled out. There's the one where it kind of looks like its moon is kind of just sitting down in the clouds. I don't know if I'll really be able to adjust it much to show that, but you can kind of see how it looks like that light itself is distorting the clouds right there, maybe, but that's the thing with the blink camera footage. It's not the same as capturing it with the Panasonic, with the Lumix, but uh, well, that's kind of curious. It almost looks like there's a face popping out in the middle of that, like eyes and mouth. uh, is that the man in the moon? Oh, wow. Oh, let me get the magnifier on that. Wow. Huh. That's kind of interesting because it almost looks like two eyes and a mouth. Oh, let me get back to that one. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Oh. Huh. Oh. Oh. Wow. Okay. Um, I don't know if y'all watching this video right now can see that, but it kind of looks like a face. That's supposed to be the moon that was captured with the blink security cam. It almost looks like two eyes and a mouth and almost maybe a nose. Alrighty then. That's not really what I was looking at. Why I wanted to look at this one closer. I wanted to look at, the shape of those like rings around that light source. It almost looks like the shape of a gem, but well, that was kind of curious. How did I get that to do that? What did I do? I darkened this up a little bit here, right? All right, let me, and that one too. Yup, that looks like that's it. Wow. Oh my. Wow, that's interesting. I don't know if you guys can see it, but because I'm repetitive, I gotta say it again. It looks like a face. Alrighty then. Uh, okay. Yeah, this is one of the frames here where it looks like whatever is going on up there is definitely interacting with the clouds, but it almost looks like something like exploded. And I think that's curious because in that one image that Sharn 1982 shows, it has a ring of lights around the light source that was being, over their location there. I don't know if I can really adjust this much to show the effect of what I'm seeing or what my eyes are perceiving and what looks like a uh, like debris or something shooting out around it. I don't know. It's really weird. That one too. That distortion is just really curious. Again, I don't know how much I can really adjust with these frames from the blink, but you can kind of see where it looks like there's energy flowing that's, coming out and that the camera is picking up on. Mm. And even right there, it looks like it's throwing off energy, not just light, but energy. Mm. There's not much I can do to adjust that, but yeah, I just think that's kind of curious. Oh, and there's Captain Zippy right there in the middle. Let's see, I don't know if I can adjust this too much to see. Maybe I can get it to invert somehow. Let's see. Oh, pull this one this way. Yeah, you can see it's right here is where the light pops into the frame. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see it's just like trying to hide there. It's like a dark object there hidden in that the little wispy clouds. Yeah. Whatever it is, Captain Zippy's pretty fast. And he hangs out around the valley here pretty often. There you can kind of see the motion there where it moves forward and disrupts the clouds in the sky. Whoa, that's a weird flashy thing too. I don't like that. Let me turn that off, see if that goes away. Oh, well, no, it looks like when it goes from frame to frame there. There we go. I can just click on them. Oh, yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's see. This was the two little lights that popped off over here. Let's see if I can adjust that a little bit. Yeah, right here is the two little lights that I'm talking about. I don't know, maybe I can get it to invert. You can see this light over here is an airplane coming in, but those two lights over there on the far left side of the frame right here, let me get the magnifier out. It's these two lights right here that zoom in really quick, like Captain Zippy. Let's see if I can get it to. Yeah, there you kind of see there's two lines, shapes right in there, but even that's not that clear. You can kind of see where the very top mark there is kind of causing like this uplift of the clouds right in that area. But yeah, whatever these lights are, they're very fast. And there it is right there where it appears. Let's see. Oh, go this way, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, right in here is where that light is, but hmm, it's real faint. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to show that from these security cam time lapse here, mainly of the moon tripping out. Because I've seen that distortion, that light distortion before, like I said, and like I had shown in that other video, that, line of energy coming into the valley. So, anyway, and of course, Captain Zippy has made many appearances throughout my videos and stuff, so I'll try and share some more of that too, and I'll put a link in the description as well for the one that came through over by basic high school, and, like, I'll put a link in the description, you can watch it, but it's something else, that's for sure. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and, please stay tuned, there's definitely more to come. That was just kind of like a little distraction there that caught my eye in the playback, so yeah. So, just thank you for watching. Know that I appreciate you and that you matter very much to me.